Me again. All right, so this month, April, is National Poetry Month. So I wanted to read a very cool book to you that is called Poetree, and it is by Shauna LaVoy Reynolds and illustrated by Shahrazad Maidani. So I wanted to read this to you, and I'm trying this new format. We'll see if it works or not. The snow had melted, the buttercups were blooming, and Sylvia celebrated winter's end by writing a poem about spring. She walked with Shell, this is Shell, to the park at the top of the hill and read it to a squirrel. Spring is here at last. I hope it doesn't end too fast. Like a bee, I'll sniff each flower and I'll enjoy each springy hour. So much. The squirrel seemed grateful. Sylvia tied her poem to a birch tree and headed home, hoping that it didn't count as littering if it made the world more splendid. So there's her walking to the park. And there she is tying her poem to a tree. Huh. The next morning, Sylvia passed the birch on her way to school. From a distance, she saw her poem fluttering in the breeze, but when she got closer, she realized that it wasn't her poem at all. It said, I think spring is the best of the seasons for plenty of excellent reasons, like birdie parents building nests where all the baby birds can rest and play. See, it was a new one. Sylvia's heart did a somersault. She never imagined the tree might write back. In class, Sylvia daydreamed about her new leafy friend. Look, the top one looks like it's bowing to her. And then there's a face on the bottom one. Sylvia, please pay attention, said Ms. Oliver. I know, another Oliver. Yeah, Sylvia, whispered Walt, the boy sitting behind her. Their classmates giggled, and Sylvia sank in her seat. Oh, what does that mean when they sink like that? She's embarrassed. After lunch, Ms. Oliver taught the class about haiku. Sylvia struggled to contain her excitement in 17 syllables. Haiku are these really short little poems. You can see hers right there, and I'll tell you what it says. It says, white birch on the hill speaks out loud through rustling leaves, great green poetry. Ms. Oliver gave Sylvia a gold star. When the bell rang, Sylvia ran straight to the poetry. She folded her haiku into a paper boat and pushed it halfway into a knothole. Let's see it? So what's your name? Sylvia asked the tree, but the tree stood in silence. Are you shy like me? The tree nodded in the breeze. Sylvia understood. There's her poem. That night, Sylvia dreamed of rhymes falling like autumn leaves. She dreamed of cheerful songbirds greeting her in perfect rhythm. These words say night, cake, delight, bake, inspired. On Saturday morning, Sylvia rushed to the park with a heart full of hope. The knothole was empty and she saw no note on the branches, but the whisper of the wind in the leaves above her was like a poem. Sylvia looked up and saw fragments of sky peeking through the treetop. She spoke the words as they blossomed into her mind. She has another poem. Sky so blue, grass so green, tree so tall in between, favorite friend in morning light and under moon glow late at night. That's a good poem she just thought up. Sylvia selected a twig from the ground and gripped it like a pencil. Bye, Sylvia, she wrote in the air, but that didn't seem right. Love, Sylvia. She waved her stick with a flourish, accidentally hitting a branch. A tightly folded ninja star fell to her feet. See it? Sylvia couldn't unfold it fast enough. So there she is writing love in the air. And there's her ninja star. Ooh, exciting. I've wondered a while, can a tree and a child be friends? Your words give me hope. Sylvia felt a spark in her heart. Good thing she brought sidewalk chalk. She scrawled them in big blocky letters so the birch could see. I never thought that I would see such lovely poems from a tree. I wish that I could climb and live among the words you love to give. But if I lived up in a tree, I sure would miss my family, especially Shell. That's her poem right there. There she is writing it to the tree. Sylvia thought it was the greatest thing she had written in all her years. She wrapped her arms around the poetry. It was stronger, wiser, and kinder than the children at school. She knew she would always have a friend at the park. She didn't open her eyes until Shell barked. Ooh, I wonder what he's barking at. I'm going to let you predict. What do you think Shell's barking at? Tell somebody. What do you think? What is Shell barking at? Oh. Walt was there. He's the one that stuck his tongue out at her, staring at the ninja star haiku sticking out of Sylvia's pocket. That's not for you. That's for my tree. Sylvia blinked. It was from the tree, just for me. Walt shook his head. Sylvia didn't understand. Had the tree she loved so much not given her a thing? Sylvia didn't want to cry, not at the park. Walt didn't want her to cry either. I'm sorry I was mean at school, he said. Sylvia smiled. A friend of the tree is okay with me. She could never resist a good rhyme. Walt read Sylvia's chalk poem out loud. You're a wonderful poet, he said. You deserved that gold star. But who is Shell? Sylvia pointed. My best friend's name is Shell. I think he likes the way you smell. I can tell, added Walt. The two poets giggled. Did you tell that all those words rhymed? Can I borrow your chalk? Walt composed a new poem next to Sylvia's. If you want to share a tree with me, give it to the tall birch tree. Or if you need a friend for writing, playing with, or sit besiding, I'll be here for you joyfully, right beneath the poetry. Aww. The new friends sat a while side by side, backs against the birch. Sunlight and shadows danced through the leaves above them as they silently searched for the most marvelous words to describe it all. And that's the end. There's Shell and the squirrel. So, I think it would be really cool if this week you wrote a poem or just got a poem that you liked and go put it on a tree and see if somebody finds it and writes you back. Wouldn't that be fun? So that's my challenge to you this week. Put a poem on a tree. Bye.